What's going on, guys? Ryan Baggett here with chatbotbuilder.ai, and today I've got something a little bit different for you, but it's going to be awesome. We've got a very special interview with a special guest and power user of Chatbot Builder AI, and as a matter of fact, longtime power user of AI and automation all the way back to our Tap the Table days. I'm super pumped to welcome this guy, insanely successful, the main man here, Philip Searcy of the Therapy Group. What's going on, man?
Hey man, I'm glad you're having me. Yeah, 4 years. It's a 4 year anniversary for our friendship, and it has been 3 years since using your software. It's been really changing the game for me.
TTT, baby. Man, it's been so fun to see just how far you've just exploded in your space, man. And I remember we had some good times when we first met, and 4 years later, good times are still rolling, and you're
That's
still on
right.
top of the game. But why don't you just tell the folks a little bit about yourself and what got you to where you are today in the therapy world?
Sure. So yeah, I am a clinical social worker. So I'm a licensed South Carolina state licensed therapist, and been 2019 is when I opened Therapy Group with a partner of mine, and we have been just trying to rock and roll. And COVID really hit us hard right when we first opened, June of 19, and then transitioning right into COVID a few months later. So figuring out how to just keep up with the times and be on the digital side, and then being friends with you and seeing the things, getting to ride your coattails essentially on
Oh man.
all the way. You're just ahead of the game with technology. I mean, I remember some of the stuff you were telling me, just predictions that you made when we first started hanging out that have now come true and are here and in our face. And so it's just been really cool for me to be able to be friends with you and see your journey, but also get to experience some of this cool technology.
Man, I don't think I've had somebody up here making me blush like this. Turning, I know I'm turning red here. Appreciate that, man. And yeah, it's been really fun. There's never been a better time to be in AI, and I think that very few of the business owners have really taken a solid grasp like you have, specific to AI and social media automation. And I'd like to hit on some of those things here in a moment, but I've got to give you shout out and kudos. There's a lot of therapy businesses out there, a lot of licensed mental health therapists out there in the United States, and I would bet a lot of money if I was a gambler that you are the only one that can control AI like you are doing. Why don't you tell the folks, and you don't have to give away any secrets now, but why don't you tell the folks a few of the ways that you're currently using AI with your business?
For sure. Well, when, as I said earlier, when COVID kind of hit and everything was transitioning to telehealth, that's when you and I first started talking, because I had the time, and I needed to figure out something that was going to help kind of propel us forward. And one of those things was the tap the table, and being able to create those bots. And I think what that did for me was it allowed me to start the process of understanding this world of bots, of understanding, the if then chart, right? If they answer this way, then it takes
Exactly.
them this way. And so that really, I think, propelled me forward with what you're doing now, because it's much, much faster, much just more broad, I guess, in terms of what I don't have to be as specific as I did before with those flows where they had to answer it yes or no, or these buttons. And so now it's just given me a world where I'm just saying, "Hey, here's the parameters in which I'm willing to play ball," and it just does a beautiful job.
Man, you're so awesome, and thank you for that. I remember when I convinced you to take a look at TTT, Tap the Table, our original application that was created for restaurants that then became popular among real estate agents and then every other industry after that. And then you obviously were one of the very first early adopters and have stuck with us all this time, which we're appreciative of. But I remember that when you finally saw it click on, if I can think it and if I can place these thoughts on the flow builder canvas, then I can
Hmm.
make it happen and I can save myself time or save myself money or make myself money by getting new appointments. And that was the name of the game with Tap the Table, to essentially collect that data
Right.
using social media and take it off of social media so you have the list. And so in the therapist or therapy group's case, it's to generate awareness and to get the lead information to the system so that you can reach back out. And I think that your business is a testament to the way that things work when things are designed to work in a certain way, and when they actually do work in that way in which they're designed to, you see the result is like magic, and you just took it to another level. But I remember that the flows that this guy was making, guys, these were giant flows. You want to talk a little bit about that? I mean, this is some time and
Oh
effort,
my
energy,
gosh.
blood, sweat, tears.
Yeah, so it brought me excuse me, it brought me back to my the MySpace days where you could actually make your page and have all those
Truly
codes that you
customized.
put in, and it really got me jazzed up for it again because the TTT stuff was just, I had that same energy where I'm like, man, I can make this.
Do
But yeah,
anything.
they got so big where I couldn't even open them on my iPad, right? I had to have a hard, computer to pull them up.
Hmm.
And so you taught me how to, create multiple different
Break them
flows
down.
that talk to each other. So, but I remember on that first flow, like you had to zoom out and look at everything, and it's going a million different directions, but it worked beautifully, and it saved me so much time. But that's the thing that I feel like with what you're doing now with the combination with ChatGPT that has just rocked my world is I can use it for screening questions, right? Because I was spending so much of my time as a small business owner answering questions. So clients, potential clients would be calling in, hey, do you take this insurance, or how much is that going to cost me? Or if I need to pay out of pocket, what's that? Or what
Hmm.
therapists work with certain different topics or populations or age groups. And so I was just answering the same questions over and over and over and over and over. And so what I realized
Hmm.
when you showed me the tap the table is, oh, okay, I can use this for screening questions, right? And just create this flow chart that, all right, are they calling about this? And if they are, going here and here and here. But now I've been able to, because I'm a therapist, because I am the one that has been running this practice and hearing all these questions over and over, I know the typical things that are coming through. And so I created my text, my big text box of, here's here, but as for the assistant of AI, that is that job. You're an assistant for therapy group, and you're to treat every interaction as a potential client, and you're trying to find out, do they have questions to make sure this is the right place for their treatment. And then I just tell it everything about therapy group, our hours, our therapists, the age range in which they work, the specialties they have, procedure codes, and um, typical, those questions and answers. And I have been just mind blown by. I've even had comments from clients on there recently of, one person even said, is this an AI? And it said, yes, I am an AI, and I'm an AI for therapy group, and how can I help you? And it was like, and then another person even in the chat saying, you are pretty incredible. It is really amazing where I'm just I I'm just blown away because I could hire a receptionist and take hours and hours and hours out of my day to try to educate that receptionist on how I want them to answer questions, and this does it better,
It does it
100%.
better. I think what I consider myself so lucky to be your friend also, and not just because you're a great dude, but because you share what you can with me to help make our product better for you and your clients, but that ends up helping so many other hundreds and hundreds and potentially soon thousands of other people in the world like you that want to be able to control this new large language model based AI. And I think that when you're able to share What is working, what is not working, what are the pain points, what do you love, what's been most beneficial. This is what makes us so much better. And because we're so fast and nimble with implementing these improvements that are, some are feature requests, some are
Hmm.
real problems that people have. And here's, there's no solution right now, so we have to build one.
Right.
I think that you've helped us make things so much faster. And that's one thing that we stay focused on is the speed and the least amount of clicks. And you really help out there because you're the business owner, but you're also the one that is making these conversational design flows work because you know your
Right.
customer so well. And so I've actually, you were kind enough to throw some screenshots.
Yeah, here's that's the beginning. That's the beginning there, right? So it's a typical prompt. I mean, the beginning of, hey, welcome to therapy group. And then this is a
Mhm.
person asking about our med provider, talking about a medication, and then that's how it kind of starts. Is it's answering it based on the services that we provide. That's the second one. Yep, there you go. It's asking for the information, which it grabs, which is great because then that allows us to have the information to contact them for scheduling. There it is. Yep. Thank you for providing your contact information. Our team will reach out to you. And then here comes the question, right? There we go. Beautiful. So it's just answering it based on that first question, right? But then this person moves into an LGBTQ question, right? Are we comfortable as therapy group of addressing LGBT issues? Absolutely. At therapy group, we strive to provide a safe and inclusive environment for all individuals, including those who identify as LGBT. Our therapists are trained to adjust a wide range, blah, blah, blah. Excuse me. So this was just a beautiful answer. Now, I know there's going to be all kinds of different opinions in terms of this topic within
Right.
society, but within my practice, the way it answered it as being within the realm of what I told it, that it's treating every interaction as a potential client. And it answered it, in my opinion, from the small business owner, excuse me, very beautifully. And then the guy goes on to say, you know, well, let's see. I happen to be a lifelong bisexual male, right? And then it moves into the next part. And then it's saying, thank you for sharing that with me. It's important to prioritize your needs and meet blah, blah, blah. And so it is um, just really cool. And then if we go to the next slide, you're pretty impressive. Is this artificial intelligence? How long do you think it will take to get an appointment? And so it was just neat. And then even at the end, I think he goes into a question about like, how how was your day today, or how do you like to spend your time, when it realized it was, AI, and so it wanted to see just a fun
Yeah,
little,
there it
yeah, there
is.
it is. Right. Thank you. How do you like to spend your day? What is a good day for you? Uh,
Let's see. I think it's gonna be here. You go.
yeah. As an AI, I don't have personal preference or experiences like humans do. My main purpose is to assist and provide information to users like yourself. A good day for me is when I can effectively help and provide accurate information to those who reach out to therapy group.
Oh my gosh! So I'm
Right.
gonna take a guess at and say that you didn't explicitly tell your chatbot to say that.
No, not anything
That
around
has
that
been
topic.
the magic. This is
Yeah.
exactly what Sam Altman and all those guys and gals at OpenAI and these large language model companies, these huge AI engine companies. This is the thing that's consistently that to me. At first, I just didn't get. Now I'm experiencing what you're talking about on a daily basis, sometimes by the hour. It does so well in our system, uniquely
Hmm.
with our system, because we really pay attention to the documentation and we just have a special way. Let's just leave it at that. We got a special thing going on, and our bots
Yeah.
just have a unique understanding of what you want them to do. And it's as
Right.
easy as instruction verbally to a Word document. And that's where I think when this round two came about with Chatbot Builder, when I told you that, listen, we can take these spaghetti bowl flows and
Hmm.
instead convert them into something like a Word doc. And better yet, we don't even have to write it. We can tell Chat GPT to write most of it. based on what you've already done.
Right.
So it's not a total loss or a waste. It's just fully optimized for
Yeah.
2023 and going on.
Yeah, man. You know, one thing that I want to say real quick to finish up that where you were showing that
Hmm.
text there, I ended up talking to that guy on the phone, and at the end of everything, just getting his information, getting him scheduled. I asked him. I said, "Hey, you know, I noticed your interaction with the my AI bot. You know, what did you think?" And he was just raving. He said, "I have never
Awesome.
interacted with things like that." He said, "You know," he said, "there's always some type of bot that's on a phone call or something that he's
Hmm.
dealt with, and he said it's always painful, but he said it was so realistic that he was just floored at how it answered, and he couldn't
So
believe
awesome.
it. Yeah, so but I'll tell you, man, I mean, this has been something I think your bots have um, really just saved a ton of time for me. I feel like I can trust it. I'm still going back behind it and following up to make
Totally.
sure how it's answering, and I'm fine tuning. So certain times people will
Totally.
ask certain questions and it didn't answer it wrong. It just
Perfect.
answered it some way that I wasn't really 100% okay with. So I'd go back in and just fine tune that and
The same thing you would do
retrain
with
it.
an employee, right? Is that fair? Like the
Exactly. Yeah.
same exact process. It's to me,
But
that's the
easier,
best way to
faster.
describe it.
Because if it was an employee, then I'd have to send an email, let's schedule a time to meet so I can go over this
Oh, I
thing
didn't even
because I
think
got
about
this
that.
feedback, right? Now that's so much of my time, right? That's a whole hour meeting, right? That I'm gonna have to meet with an employee to give some feedback or even time to write an email. So this I can just quickly go in and I've got
Wow.
the text saved. I go in, edit, copy, paste,
Goes
done,
done.
save, publish, boom. And then I don't stress about it. And every time something goes through, I'm not worried, is this person going to answer it the way I want? Because it's going to answer it even better sometimes than I would.
Yes.
But I
That's the
think the
mic
thing,
drop moment right there, baby. Golly. That was
right,
good.
right. And that's my practice, is my baby. It's the thing that I feel passionate
Totally.
about. So to trust an AI
Shows.
is just, it shows where my mind is with it. But the thing that I think for most people to think about is, yes, can this help a business that is selling a product, right? And I think that's the thing that's hard sometimes as a mental health therapist is, you know, what I'm really selling is hope. I'm not right. I'm selling hope for the future in a way that people are going to buy it. And the thing that I've realized that helps people the most is catching them in their aha moment, answering their questions right when they've got questions about mental health therapy.
Hmm.
Because if they're calling and they're getting a voicemail or they're getting some, you know, just other bot that's like Kroger's answering machine, right? It doesn't feel like it's going to get them anywhere other than like
Totally.
just trying to hit 00 representative, right? But this actually answers the questions in a much more in-depth manner. And I've actually been trying to funnel everybody to my website for that, because that chat feature versus, you know, I've got it for the voicemail feature, but the chat on our website has just been revolutionary. I mean, everybody can literally get every single question that they could think of about therapy and whether we're the right spot. So whether it's using it like I am for screening questions, people are making sure we're the right spot for them. That's a beautiful feature to use. Or if you're going all the way to you're selling a product and you're trying to get them to purchase it right in that moment, I think this is something that any business could find themselves benefiting from. And I've been finding myself showing it off to everybody. We had
Oh, I
a
bet you
council.
blow people away, don't you?
Dude, yeah, yeah, because we had once a month we have these counselor meetings where all the therapists in the area get together, and I like literally pulled up my iPad and I was like, okay, here's my website, and
Here's
I
my
just got
AI.
them. I'm like, hey, ask me a question. They'd pull up a question, so I would just put it in there and it'd answer it, and they're just
Boom.
everybody is stunned, right? And
Stunned.
stunned,
You know, there's
and
one
yeah,
more example I gotta have you go through because I mentioned this before in a couple of the live videos. And shout out to everyone, really across the world that's tuned into any of these videos that we've done. Really appreciate you guys, and it really means a lot whenever so many of you have reached out, whether it's on Facebook or emailing me. Some of you have called me, which is cool. To say that you enjoy the content and to ask this and ask that. This is something you've mentioned to me a couple months ago when you first implemented the phone bot, which we'll have news on later. But I believe, I don't know if it was a phone call or if it was a web chat experience, but could you tell the folks what happened in that specific case when the customer or the client was it was something about insurance, I think. You know the story much better than me.
Yeah. So that actually was on the website chat flow. So
Website,
it
cool.
was um, somebody calling in or messaging in on through the website asking because they were wanting to submit uh, to their insurance to get reimbursement, and their insurance told them that they needed certain codes, procedure codes, and excuse me, that is something that is very specific to the type of treatment that we use. And so those codes, I now, granted, I did put in there if anybody ever asked to hear the codes, and it just answered it in perfectly is the only thing I can say. It answered it
Perfect.
perfectly of here's what to do, call your insurance, give them these procedure codes, ask them what your deductible is and what your
Hmm.
responsibility is going to be. And it what and the
Perfect.
person was just literally like, thank you so much. That is so helpful. Right. It is just incredible how well it does where you give it a little bit of information, a little bit of guidelines, and it takes that and just handles it in a very realistic, a very personable way too, because you can tell it what tone to use. I'm sure if I said be an asshole to everybody, it would. But if I'm telling it to treat every interaction this way and to ask open-ended questions and this type of thing, it has just been amazing. It does exactly what I tell it, which an employee
That's
wouldn't always do.
that's prompt engineering. And in that scenario, and I know we got to run, but if an employee, if you had hired, and I mean an above average receptionist to field that interaction, how do you think that would have went?
Most likely it would have, unless they really remembered everything that we talked about through their training, they would most likely have to say, "Hey, let me get back to you on that." If they were on the phone with that potential customer, right? Let me get back to you on that. Then I would get an email, I would get a phone call. I'd be telling
Oh,
this receptionist, okay, here's how to answer that. Here's the procedure codes. Here's what they need to do. Call their insurance and do this. And then that receptionist is going to then have to be middleman and go back to that client and try to play phone tag with them, right, to
yeah,
get them. And so this could take 24, 48 hours, right, for this potential client to get that answer. And in the meantime, they may have called someone else. They may have, you know, gone to a different practice. They may have done something, right?
totally.
They may have gotten frustrated and not wanted to deal with us anymore.
And that's under the ideal. Here's the procedure. Here's what you've been directed to do. Here's following the protocol ends up in this result. Versus when you sent me that at first, what I was thinking, guys, I thought he was sending me a screenshot of. I saw just no identifier, but like the number code. I was like, oh no, did the bot make up some code that doesn't exist and like lie to the customer because this is going to be the end? And when he said, no, this is great, this is exactly what we wanted, my mind was exploding, and I was like,
Yeah.
there's no way ChatGPT could possibly know exactly that, can it? And then you're like, no, I added the information in, and that's prompt engineering, guys. Philip,
Mhm.
you are the man, dude. You're a genius in so many different ways, from mental health to artificial intelligence to prompt engineering. What can't you do, man? I really appreciate the time today, and
Absolutely.
I hope that we'll have you on again. And if you need anything, we're just call, text away, man. We're here for you.
That's right. You're always there, right? And that's the thing too that matters to me is, yeah, there's some times where I run into little things and I've got questions, and you're always right there immediately, and you help me problem solve. But luckily with this, the problem solving is very minimal. But even when I need it,
Right.
you're there, and I appreciate you, man. And I'm back. I'll come back anytime.
You are the man, dude. Thank you so much. We'll have to have Phil on back again soon. Guys, I hope you liked that episode. If you have any questions for Philip that you'd like me to try to relay, can't promise anything, but we can try. He's a nice guy and just loves to help people. If you have any questions about AI chatbots or anything of that nature, feel free to comment below. If you want to see more videos like this with more of our power users, let us know, and we'll see you next time. Thank you so much. Peace.